All right, guys, it's Jahlon, and I'm really stoked today. I get to talk about the very first game I made content about. I get to talk about ArcheAge. I used to be the ArcheAge 101 guy, and then I was really excited for ArcheAge 2, and then it kind of fell by the wayside. If you haven't seen my first video on ArcheAge 2, it's up there in the right-hand corner. This video is going to get you all caught up. ArcheAge 2 is slated for release in about 2024, 2025. So it's still a ways off. It is going to be an MMORPG in Unreal Engine 5. It's going to be developed by Excel Games, and it's going to be published by Kakao Games. And they are going to work on a pretty standard developer-publisher relationship, with the exception, and not a lot of people know this yet, is that Kakao Games actually owns Excel Games. In February 2020, it was announced Kakao had acquired a 53% share of Excel Games. The reason why this is good is it means Excel Games has resources and revenue. They don't have to spend any effort trying to find out who's going to publish for them. It also means that Kakao can control releases and patches and DLC, and the whole world's going to be on the same builds. So those are some things about ArcheAge 2 that are really exciting. Now, I know right away some of you don't want to hear about Kakao. You're still burned about the way Kakao Games handled Black Desert Online. The trick here is Kakao Games wasn't the developer on Black Desert, Pearl Abyss was. When Pearl Abyss grew to a point where they felt they could handle distribution, they decided to do it themselves. More recently, Kakao has been showing that they're willing to listen to their community with the distribution of Elion. Elion is a pay-to-win swipe game in Asia. However, the Western build has been cut to the bone. A lot of systems have been removed. Most of the pay-to-win has been removed. Now, I have to be honest, there is still the Luminous. There still is the pets in the pay-to-win shop. But to be honest, if they decided not to do a box price, what else were they going to sell? I know some people are going to say you should do cosmetics only. The problem with that is Elion is an Unreal Engine 3 game, not a lot of graphic fidelity to begin with, so I'm not quite sure if the game could be financially successful with just cosmetics. But all that aside, let's talk about the product Kakao has acquired, and that is ArcheAge and ArcheAge Unchained. Lots of people hearing about this news say it's a non-starter. ArcheAge is too old. It's too screwed up. ArcheAge Unchained is too screwed up. And I absolutely agree with you. But I don't want Kakao Games to get blamed for that. Let's talk about the history of ArcheAge and ArcheAge Unchained a little bit. ArcheAge, you know, was brought to the West by Trion Worlds, who doesn't exist anymore. Trion did nothing to combat the pay-to-win. Trion did nothing to make sure that bugs, exploits, and cheats didn't make it to the live server. They had a perfectly functional public test realm. They kept it up all the time. People actually played there as their full-time server, but Trion never said, man, we can't push this patch this week because there's bugs, exploits, and cheats. It's well known that there were staff members giving help to their former guildies, both in the form of information about formulas, damage reduction, and letting them know what was coming in patches. We also know that Trion's staff was pretty much incompetent. They had an incompetence issue. Literally didn't know the game, didn't know what was going to be in the builds. A couple of days before major fresh starts, they didn't even know what the fresh start build looked like. The one person I do want to give a shout out to was Quilladon. Quilladon was a beast. He knew exactly what he was doing. So if there's any game development companies out there and you ever get a guy named Quilladon apply, give the guy a job. Then we went from ArcheAge and we went to ArcheAge Unchained. Gamigo Group acquired all of Trion's assets. We thought it was going to be different. Crolin promised us it was going to be different, and it was just more of the same. Bugs, exploits, and cheats. The ArcheAge Unchained product wasn't tested enough in beta before it was released to the West. Again, incompetence on the part of the staff. They didn't know what was going on. Things that they were calling exploits, they got told by Excel Games weren't. Excel Games said, no, that's intended. That's working as intended. Didn't listen to the consumers. We begged for a subscription model. We said, just have a subscription subscription model, and they didn't want to do that. Absolutely, players wanted that sub model. It was literally a cash grab. They said it was a one-time buy to play, and then it ended up they charged for expansions. It was pretty clear right from the very beginning of ArcheAge Unchained that Gamigo had overspent acquiring Trion's assets and needed to bleed ArcheAge Unchained dry for every penny they could get. But now Kakao Games is going to have ArcheAge and ArcheAge Unchained. Again, that's going to happen on 2 December of this year. This actually came out today in a massively OP article. Kakao's overhauling ArcheAge Unchained business model, and yes, it has a sub. Let me say this first and foremost. If anybody at Kakao Games is watching this, please do fresh start servers for ArcheAge Unchained. Please do some sort of pre-sale, pre-registration. Please do pre-guild registrations. Please never merge those, link those with the other servers, and you will have a successful product. With that said, they are saying right away there's going to be nothing but cosmetic items for the cash shop. But if you look down, you're going to see there is a link. The company also posted a lengthy document on the switchover. I will provide a link to that switchover in the description below. There are some things you have to do if you want to mitigate your account. So old ArcheAge players, if you're thinking about coming back, go to that link, follow that document. With that said, I know a lot of people are thinking to themselves, do I really, really, really want to get involved with ArcheAge again? And the truth of the matter is, yeah, why not? Why not show Kakao Games what your interest in ArcheAge is? $9 a month. It's a really good game. Maybe you play 1 month and then you abandon it. Should you give Kakao Games another chance? Well, yes, absolutely you should. I've said this on my Twitch show. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I've said this a number of times. Gamers are hypocrites. Gamers are hypocrites because we've all been to a fast food place. McDonald's, Burger King, Hardee's, Wendy's. We've all been somewhere and they've screwed up our order. If we're going to be really honest with ourselves, we go to fast food places knowing there's a 10-12% chance they're going to screw up our order. Do we boycott that place? No, we go back 2 weeks later, maybe a month later, maybe 3 months later, but we always go back. Why is it we're going to hold Kakao Games to some high standard because of their business model 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 3 years ago? I believe that they've shown us in Elyon that they are serious about listening to the customers and providing a better experience. I also have to believe Jake's song when he says he's not building the pay-to-win functionality into ArcheAge, that they want it to be a sub-based game or a buy-to-place game with a cosmetic cash shop. And that's going to work. We've seen 2 other major companies coming out with a cosmetic-only model. Riot is doing their MMORPG on cosmetics only. Of course, we can have another discussion about how much money Riot has to do that. Ashes of Creation is doing a submodel plus cosmetics only, and that's a small company that probably needed a box price, but they want to try to make this change to the industry. But that's enough for me. I want to know what you guys think. Can you trust Kakao Games again? Are you going to go back to ArcheAge now that Gamigo's not going to be touching it? Would you play on a fresh start server for Unchained if it was completely isolated from all the other servers? Or anything else you want to leave in a comment? Leave a comment below. I'll talk to you guys next time when we have a little bit more ArcheAge news.
I say, Sprocket, we've reached the end of another video. Time to thank the sponsors. Yes, that will do, that will do. Shall we pop off for a spot of tea?